Hello everybody, and welcome back to my Theorycraft series for Scholomance Academy. Today it is the turn of Druid, and Druid is a class that, is already pretty strong, right? They have the ability to ramp really effectively with Overgrowth, and that opens up a lot of opportunities for Druid. Obviously Spell Druid being the major Druid archetype right now, also a big Druid, can also be played. But I think with the inclusion of Scholomance Academy and some of the new cards that they've revealed, I think Druid can actually do a lot of more things, a couple more things in this expansion. So we're going to go through some of the decks today and have a few spicy ones for you coming up. So yeah, definitely stay tuned. But the first deck that we have is a Malygos Druid. And the main reason why Malygos Druid has kind of come back into the meta, or may come back into the meta next expansion, is because of the card Forest Warden Omu. This card is going to be, absolutely insane for this archetype. It actually just makes this archetype an actual thing. It has Spell Burst, Refresh your Mana Crystal. So the combo in this deck is to basically play Forest Warden Omu on turn 10. Then you play a Germination alongside it, right? This summons a copy of a minion. And how that is going to work is the Germination that you cast is going to trigger the Spell Burst of the first Omu. It's also going to summon an Omu, but the summoned Omu from Germination is actually going to still have Spell Burst. So what's going to happen is you play Forest Warden Omu, you play Germination, that's your 10 mana. The first Spell Burst is going to activate, you're going to have another 10 mana. Then you're going to play a Malygos for 9 mana, and then play like any spell, right? So maybe a Moonfire Face or whatever, right? Nature Studies, something like that. You play it, then it uses up the second Spell Burst of the copied Omu to give you another 10 mana. And then after that, you can either use Germination on the Malygos, or you can double swipe. You can just double swipe Moonfire, or Germination swipe Moonfire, stuff like that. So that's the whole combo of this deck, and that's a lot of damage, guys. You're going to be able to push 30 plus damage a lot of the time if you have the full combo pieces. If you're able to discount the Malygos, for example, then you're going to be able to push more damage because you're going to get cheap Malygos. You're going to be able to play Germination on the turn you play Malygos. Which means you can have a full 10 mana to do double swipe Moonfire, so it's even more damage. So the damage potential of this deck is very high. Can this deck survive that? That is the thing. Obviously running, obviously ramp with Overgrowth, so you're able to ramp. Obviously running the removal tools of Bog Beam, Wrath. We have Crystal Power as well for a bit of healing. We have a lot of card draw with Rising Winds and with Overflow. And we are running the Speaker Gidra, which is going to be a pretty important removal tool in the late game. You can pair that with stuff like Overflow. You can pair that with maybe an Overgrowth, or even pair that with something like Rising Winds or something. It might not be that bad for the mid game to clear off a couple of minions. I think this is going to be a fantastic card in this deck. Also running double Twilight Runner as well. This is a very strong card that we're going to see in most Druid decks, I think. Unless you're playing Spell Druid, obviously you can't run this, but this pretty much guarantees you 2 cards and also kills a minion for your opponent, and sometimes can stay on the board as well. It's a 5 mana 5/4, so not too bad. Has a stealth, so which means you're pretty much guaranteed the card draw, and this is what this deck really wants to do. Obviously you want to draw cards, you want to get to your combo pieces as fast as possible, and you want to get off that Omu Malygos OTK. So this is going to be a very fun deck, guys. And I actually honestly think this is going to be a very good deck as well. I feel like Druid has the potential to stabilize and has the potential to get the combo out really fast, right? We have Overgrowth and Overflow, so sometimes you're able to just play an Overgrowth and then maybe dump some cards and then play Overflow and just draw a bunch of cards, right? Druid has that ability to really cycle fast and ramp as well. So because of those things, I think it's actually going to be a really good deck. And I can't wait to play, honestly. I think it's a really good one. Next up, we just have the classic Spell Druid deck, which is currently, being played. And I think it's definitely getting better in the expansion as well. Basically because of 2 cards, right? This is basically the same as Spell Druid before, but with 2 new cards. We have Lightning Bloom, which is basically a pre-nerf innovate with Overload. And we also have Nature Studies. And these are basically just cheap spells for the exotic Mount Seller. You're going to be able to get up to much more explosive turns with the Mount Seller. You're going to be able to play Mount Seller on turn 7 and just play Lightning Bloom and then pair that with something like Power of the Wild or Nature Studies or in Breath of Dreams or something, or even play like double Lightning Bloom of 4 mana, then play like Overgrowth. So there's going to be a lot of potential with this now. You're going to be able to get off to better swing turns, faster swing turns as well due to Lightning Bloom. I think this will be a fantastic card in pretty much every deck. This is a, really good card for both Druid and Shaman. And also Nature Studies is pretty nice as well. You're able to do some nice things with Overgrowth, right? You're able to play Nature Studies on turn 1 potentially. and then get an Overgrowth out on turn 3, which is good, very good. Yeah, I mean, it still obviously has the Glowfly Swarm as well. Running the Dragon package also with Breath of Dreams and Emerald Explorer with the Zero Unleashed for the top end. So this is basically a Spell Druid with the new cards, which make it a little bit better. So yeah, I think this deck is going to be absolutely fine next expansion as well. And yeah, pretty standard stuff. Something that's a little bit less standard though, however, is this completely new archetype that I've created, this monster Gibberling Token Druid. Now, this is a deck that I had a lot of fun creating. I actually created this deck on stream, so you guys help me out with that. If you guys want to watch me stream, by the way, I stream a lot of Hearthstone and different games as well. Link is in the description to my Twitch channel. But yeah, we actually created this on stream, so chat helped me out with this one. And basically making use of the new card, you know, as you can see by the title of the deck, Gibberling. So Gibberling is a 1-mana 1/1 that spell burst, summon another Gibberling, and obviously the one you summon is gonna have spell burst again. So with this deck, you're able to really go wide, right? So we're really trying to take advantage of the fact you can go wide. We have double Savage Roar in the deck. We have Soul of the Forest in the deck as the top end. We also have Blessing of the Ancients and Power of the Wild for AoE buffs. So yeah, you're really able to go wide, right? You play Gibberling. You know, you're gonna be able to play like Lightning Bloom, Innovate with it, and just get like a massive board in the early game, right? Turn 1 is gonna be absolutely insane with this deck. Also running Adorable Infestation as well, which can summon you know, more tokens, give you another token in hand alongside Acorn Bearer. And because of those 1-mana tokens you can get, we're also running Magic Carpet to be able to maybe, you know, get back onto the board if we do lose the board. You know, running Nature Studies as well, which can give us more Savage Roars, you know, more buffs, and make our spells a bit cheaper. So there's really no downside of running Nature Studies in every single Druid deck, basically. So really insane. I mean, this deck is going to be crazy. I don't know if it's actually going to be any good. It's going to be a super fast aggressive deck. Pretty much if you lose the board, you most often will lose the game with this deck. Obviously you do have Magic Carpet, but it's going to be hard to get back on the board if you do lose it. But this deck has some explosive opportunities to start off the game with, right? If you have like Innovate and Lightning Bloom, and you're running one copy of Lightning Bloom, you maybe want to run 2 of those, I feel like. Obviously this deck list is nothing, you know, it can be definitely changed. Also running the new 1-drop Intrepid Initiate, which is a 1-mana 1/2 spell burst, gain 2 attack. So because we're running a lot of spells in this deck, you know, you play this on turn 1, you're able to trigger the spell burst on turn 2 and hit them for a lot of damage. So pretty solid card, right? This deck is just fantastic. You really want to get that Gibberling down as soon as possible and go super wide. You can potentially even get like 7 minions on turn 1 with this deck, if you have like a Gibberling with an Adorable Infestation and Innovates and Lightning Blooms. So yeah, you can have a fantastic start with this deck. You can possibly even kill the opponent on like turn 2 or turn 3 if you draw the nuts. So this is what this deck wants to do. It looks really crazy, but I think it's actually, you know, might actually be pretty okay. It might catch a lot of people off guard as well, especially if they're tuned to a Druid. Most of these Druid decks are going to be really slow. You saw, you know, Spell Druid and Malygos Druid. Both of those are really slow decks. So people might mulligan wrong. This might catch a lot of people off guard. So, you know, if you see this deck, I'm pretty sure no one else has really created a deck like this. So, you know, don't tell anybody, but yeah, if you guys want to try this deck out, 100%, I think it's going to catch a lot of people off guard. We're also running the Voracious Reader, which is a new neutral card that draws you 3 cards, up to 3 cards at the end of a turn if you have no cards, which is going to be a fantastic refill for this deck. Obviously, you're going to be dumping your hand really fast, so a lot of the time, even playing a Reader on turn 2 or turn 3 will allow you to draw 2 cards. So a fantastic card, especially in this deck, to refill your hand and get those Savage Roars to finish off the game. So yeah, that's how this deck is going to work. It looks really fun, guys. I'm definitely going to be trying this out and potentially surprising some opponents. Let me know what you think about this cool deck in the comment section down below. And the last deck that I want to showcase for Druid is a Kael'thas Beast Druid. Now, I first saw this deck on the reveal live stream, on the card reveal live stream, you know, a couple weeks ago now. I think it was like a week ago. They played it on the live stream and it looked really fun. We're making use of the new card Guardian Animals, which is a 7-mana spell that summons beasts that cost 5 or less from your deck and gives them rush. And we're only running beasts that cost 5 mana in this deck. We have Twilight Runner, Teacher's Pet, and Lake Thresher. The triple combo of beasts. Lake Thresher, an absolutely insane card to get off Guardian Animals. If this thing has rush, it can just clear the opponent's board really effectively. Has the cleave effect, obviously. And of course, we have Twilight Runner, which is also really good with rush, getting that immediate card draw. And Teacher's Pet, a really good card as well. So really good beast package in this deck. Also running Groundskeeper for a little bit more healing in the early game. And we can activate Groundskeeper pretty effectively because we have double Survival of the Fittest and double Overflow in this deck, as well as double Guardian Animal. So a lot of expensive spells. You know, you're going to be able to play a lot of, you know, insane Kael'thas turns potentially, right? We have Kael'thas with Lightning Bloom and Nature Studies for the cheap spells. And then we can use those to activate our Guardian Animals. potentially activate our Survival of the Fittest as well to buff all of our minions. So this is a really, really interesting deck. We have Wing Guardian as well. It can have some explosive turns with Kael'thas, but it can also be a little bit more susceptible to aggro, for example. It does have Wrath and Swipe, and obviously we are running Overgrowth, so we are able to just ramp up a lot against aggressive decks and potentially get out our big beasts to combat their early game. But if you don't draw well with this deck, you are going to get crushed a lot of the time by aggro. But yeah, for sure, this deck can have some explosive turns, especially with Kael'thas. Survival of the Fittest also can provide you with some lethal damage as well, if you're able to kind of stick some beasts. And there's quite a few sticky beasts in this deck, with the Death Threat of Teacher's Pet and Wing Guardian as well. Also running the Shendo Wild Claw to potentially copy a Wing Guardian in the best case scenario on 10 mana, or even just copying like a Twilight Runner or a Teacher's Pet is pretty solid with this card as well. And yeah, Speaker Ghidra finally is a great removal card, obviously for Druid, especially because we have Overflow, we have Guardian Animals, right? So playing on turn 10 with those cards is pretty good. Even playing with something like Swipe is pretty good as well in this deck to be able to clear the board in the mid game. So I think this deck's actually pretty solid. Like, is it good enough? Maybe not, honestly, but it can have some insane turns that really just blow out your opponent. Also running the Azera Unleash for a bit more refill as well. I felt like this deck maybe didn't have enough threats to really finish the game a lot of the time, so Azera Unleash can definitely provide that. And yeah, pretty good deck, basically. I mean, you kind of see how the whole archetype works. It's definitely a completely new deck, right? Obviously enabled by this expansion, so gonna be a cool one. Definitely really excited to try all of these new decks. Is it going to be good though? Not super sure, but we're going to have to wait and see. But yeah, really, really cool deck, and can't wait to try it out. And that is going to be it for this video and for Druid. Let me know what you think about all these Druid decks that I've covered. Do you think I've missed any decks? And which deck do you think is going to be the most powerful? Let me know in the comment section down below. Hope you've enjoyed the video, and I'll see you on my next Theorycraft episode.